Well, good morning, Fabian and Eddie for Winston Capital Advisors, transmitting from beautiful Long Island in the Hamptons. Um, and many things to cover. We're going to talk about the markets. I'm sure you're probably a little bit concerned about what's going on, but we're going to talk about that at the end. Let's go some of the issues that happened on the week of May 28th to the 31st. Remember, we didn't have markets on Monday because of Memorial Day. First, Argentina on Tuesday entered the MSCI Emerging Markets Index. That's very positive. As you know, left in 2009 and finally got into the market. There was a lot of block trading, ups and downs, but it seems that so far has not been any significant effect. Names, there were like 7 or 8 names like YPF, obviously, Pampa Energía, Banco Galicia, Banco Macro, Banco Francés, Global, the service company, and TGS, the transportation of, it's an oil duct company that got in. So very interesting. For that, one of our favorites, Banco Superville, did not make the cut, and so far Argentina, I think, is going to have like a 2% weight on the emerging markets index. So we'll follow up on that. The big news, obviously, was that Fiat Chrysler have announced that they're in conversations to merge with Renault. If that were to happen, they will become the #1 producer of cars in the world. We don't know what's going to happen between the Renault-Nissan alliance. But anyways, a big news on the auto sector. This will take, according to experts, not less than a year before they can complete the whole acquisition. So interesting there. We'll follow up. Clearly a market that is on a consolidation phase. We've seen it over the years. They're struggling. Ford doesn't want to make sedans anymore. And clearly everybody's going for huge economies of scale, trying to do production around the world to save money. But it's been a very challenging business for everybody. It looks like there is too much competition out there for cars. And then you have, remember, you have the Chinese entrants in the lower end of the market and stuff of that sort. Uber published their numbers for the first time since going public. No surprises there. Company did $3 billion in revenue, lost $1 billion, about, I think it's $60 million in reservations. No surprises, the stock didn't move, but on the other hand, still not a lot of clarity of where the company is going. There is, the big issue is that there is no barriers of entry to compete with Uber on the car transportation, which is 90% of their business. They say that, their food delivery business went up 90%, but it's such a low base that it's kind of a joke. Freight and transportation, they are not there yet. See how you can disrupt those industries. It's not the same to bring one person from A to B that to bring cargo, which is a way more complex and in a way more organized business. So on the traditional business, still dominant player, make no mistake, it's very healthy numbers in terms of it has good EBITDA and all that, but still not clear where the company is going. So we'll be patient. We're looking at that. Tomorrow, there was a lot of talk on this rare earth, saying that China will stop selling rare earth, and this is a collection of minerals or elements basically that are in very small ingredients, but they are key for semiconductors, for phones, even for military stuff. Now, be aware of the following. China is a dominant player, it used to be the United States, because many of the extraction of these rare elements is extremely harmful to the environment. So as China doesn't have a lot of regard for the environment, they are producing it what in the past used to be produced by the United States and other countries. So as China took over, they didn't mind it too much because of these environmental issues. Now, this thing happened already in 2012 and 13. There was some issues, and China sort of, had export issues with their own rare material elements, and nothing really happened to the world. So don't panic about that one. Then Apple, which, by the way, so we know Apple is the largest owned or the widest owned stock in the world. In my old days in Morgan Stanley, it was the most held stock in all of our $2.3 trillion of business in the wealth management business. And talking to our clients now, even in our Latin America, Apple is the widest held stock. So it's always important to follow what's going on there. And speaking about that, there is the developers conference on Monday. People expect some announcements, some new software and systems. Remember, Apple is getting more and more to monetize their ecosystem of 900 million installed phones. That although the cycle of renewal is now going slow, they still have a lot of services. You know, the issue of healthcare, the Apple Watch, the wearables, the earpieces and stuff like that. They're going to try to monetize more and more on that ecosystem. So tomorrow, Monday, at the Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple might do some announcements. And now let's go back to the markets. You know, the market is down 6% for the week. The Dow, we lost our double digits. Only the Nasdaq is up double digits. The market has corrected 5-7%. We think we're close to the end of the correction. Remember, we were expecting and even asking for a little bit of a correction so we can calm down and see what things happening. I think we had it. It was a little bit over-triggered by this new announcement by President Trump on now tariff in Mexico on this immigration crisis, as he calls it. And remember here, the issue is that U.S. has been asking Mexico to do some collaboration and stop these caravans of people trying to get into the United States. 90% of the people are not Mexicans. So it's people that are, comes through Mexico from Honduras, El Salvador, other countries, and Guatemala, and U.S. is asking for some collaboration and help with their neighbor. And it looks like President Trump, in his view, has lost the patience about that and is doing the tariffs. So that kind of spooked the market a little bit more with the whole China issue and all that. And also we had like a small inversion on the curve, very low rates. However, all the economic indicators are still very strong. Consumer confidence, consumer sentiment. We had a GDP revision in which the consumer pushed up very high. We have the inflation numbers that were very, very low. We will have this coming week labor report on Friday. So our view is that, I would not worry too much, make too much conclusions. If anything, probably this is time to get some money to work. Maybe if you didn't sell some volatility to recover some, things that got volatile, and focus on that, because again, we don't see the signs for this market to correct much more than that. It's difficult to say, but again, we're looking at the economy, and the economy is very healthy, it's doing very well. We look at a lot of indicators every day, and we don't see a reason to worry or to think that there is a recession coming or something of that sort. And this also applies to the rest of the markets that we follow, Europe, Asia, Japan, and emerging markets. So again, so far, so good. We were looking for a correction. We had it. Now we think it's time to maybe put some money to work and see what you want to do. That was all. Have a great week. We'll connect like always at 8:45 a.m. every day. Have a good one.